Let me tell you something that might upset you. You are probably losing money because trading feels exciting to you. I know that sounds backward, but it is the truth. Most traders come to the market looking for excitement. They want the rush. They want to feel smart. They want to prove something, and that is exactly why they fail. Because excitement in trading is not a sign of skill, it is a sign of emotional attachment. And emotional attachment destroys consistency. I have spent decades studying trader psychology. I have worked with thousands of traders, and I can tell you this with absolute certainty. The traders who grow small accounts into large ones are not the ones chasing excitement. They are the ones who have learned to be bored. Yes, bored. Because when trading becomes boring, it means you are doing it right. It means you are no longer emotionally involved in each trade. It means you are thinking in probabilities. It means you have accepted the process. And the process is not exciting. It is repetitive. It is mechanical. It is unsexy. But it works. Let me explain why excitement is so dangerous. When you feel excited about a trade, your brain is releasing dopamine. This is the same chemical that gets released when you gamble, when you use drugs, when you engage in any addictive behavior, and that chemical makes you feel good. But it also clouds your judgment. It makes you take risks you should not take. It makes you see patterns that are not there. It makes you believe you can predict what is unpredictable. So you enter trades based on emotion, not logic. You increase your position size because you feel confident. You ignore your stop loss because you believe this trade is different, and then you lose. And when you lose, you feel terrible. So you chase that feeling again. You look for another exciting trade, another rush, another chance to feel smart, and the cycle continues. This is why most traders never make it. They are addicted to the feeling, not committed to the process. And until you break that addiction, you will never be consistent. Here is the lie you have been sold. You believe that if you just find the perfect strategy, everything will change. You believe that somewhere out there is a setup so good, so reliable, that it will make you rich. So you keep searching. You keep jumping from system to system. You keep buying courses. You keep watching videos. You keep looking for the magic formula. But there is no magic formula. Let me say that again. There is no magic formula. The market does not work that way. Trading is a probability game. That means every trade is uncertain. Every single one. You can have the best setup in the world, and it can still lose. You can have the worst setup, and it can still win. That is the nature of probabilities. And until you accept that, you will keep chasing the impossible. Now here is what most traders do not understand. Skill in trading is not analytical. It is behavioral. Let me explain. You probably already know enough to be profitable. You probably already have a system that works. The problem is not your strategy. The problem is your execution. You do not follow your rules. You take trades outside your plan. You move your stop loss. You take profits too early. You revenge trade. You double your risk after a loss. You skip trades because you are scared. You overtrade because you are bored. These are not strategy problems. These are discipline problems. And discipline is a skill. It is a behavioral skill. It must be trained. It must be practiced. It must be reinforced every single day. Most traders think they need to get smarter, but what they really need is to get more consistent. And consistency does not come from learning more. It comes from doing the same thing over and over again, without deviation. That is the skill. That is the edge. I want you to think about this for a moment. How many times have you known exactly what you should do, but you did not do it? How many times have you broken your own rules? How many times have you told yourself after a losing trade that you will never do that again, and then you did it again the very next day? This is not a knowledge problem. You know what to do. The problem is that you cannot make yourself do it. And that is a completely different problem. That is a psychological problem. It requires a psychological solution. And that solution is not more education. It is daily conditioning. It is building new habits. It is training your mind to respond differently to the same situations. And that takes time. It takes repetition. It takes boring, unsexy, daily rituals. So if the problem is behavioral, then the solution is also behavioral. And that solution is rituals, not strategies, not indicators, not patterns. Rituals, daily habits that condition your mind to think like a probabilistic thinker, daily habits that remove emotion from your trading, daily habits that make discipline automatic. Let me be very clear. Your edge is not in your chart reading ability. Your edge is in your ability to execute flawlessly, trade after trade, without letting emotions interfere. And that ability is built through daily rituals. These rituals are boring, they are repetitive, they do not feel like progress, but they are the foundation of everything. Think of it this way. A professional athlete does not just show up and play. They warm up, they stretch, they mentally prepare, they review their game plan, they cool down, they review their performance. Every single day, the same routine, over and over again. It is not exciting, but it is what makes them perform at the highest level. Trading is no different. If you want to perform like a professional trader, you must train like one. And that means doing the boring work every single day. Now, I know what you are thinking. You are thinking that rituals will not make you money. You are thinking that what matters is finding good trades. But you are wrong. Finding good trades is easy. The market gives you opportunities every single day. The hard part is taking those trades when you are supposed to take them. The hard part is staying in those trades when you are supposed to stay in them. The hard part is exiting those trades when you are supposed to exit them. And the only way to do the hard part is to condition your mind through repetition, through rituals, through doing the same thing every day until it becomes automatic, until you do not have to think about it anymore, until your discipline is stronger than your emotions. That is what rituals do. They build psychological muscle. They make the right behavior automatic, and when the right behavior is automatic, you do not have to fight yourself anymore. You just execute, without hesitation, without fear, without greed, just clean, mechanical execution. That is the edge. That is what separates profitable traders from everyone else. Let me start with the most important ritual. Fixed risk per trade. This is non-negotiable. You must risk the same amount on every single trade. Not more when you feel confident, not less when you feel scared. The same amount. Every time. Why? Because changing your risk is emotional sabotage. When you increase your risk because you feel good, you are trading on emotion. When you decrease your risk because you are scared, you are trading on emotion. And emotion destroys edge. Edge comes from letting probabilities play out over a large sample size. But if your risk is constantly changing, you are not giving probabilities a chance to work. You are injecting randomness into your system, and randomness means no edge. Here is what I recommend. Risk 1% of your account on every trade. No more, no less. 1%. That means if you have a $1,000 account, you risk $10 per trade. If you have a $5,000 account, you risk $50 per trade. It does not matter how good the setup looks. It does not matter how much conviction you have. 1%. Always. This does one very important thing. It removes emotional decision-making from your position sizing. You are no longer guessing. You are no longer hoping. You are following a rule. And rules remove emotion. Now, I know what you are thinking. You are thinking that 1% is too small. You are thinking that you will never grow your account that way, but that is your ego talking. That is your need for excitement talking. The truth is, consistency compounds. If you risk 1% and you are consistently profitable, your account will grow. Slowly at first, then faster, then much faster. But if you risk 5% or 10% trying to grow faster, you will blow up. You will hit a losing streak, and you will lose everything. I have seen it 1,000 times. Traders with small accounts think they need to take big risks to grow quickly. They think they need to hit home runs. But that is not how it works. Big risks feel exciting in the moment, but they are psychological suicide over time, because eventually you will hit a losing streak. And when you are risking 5% or 10% per trade, a losing streak will destroy you. Not just financially, psychologically. You will lose confidence. You will start doubting your system. You will start changing your rules. You will start making emotional decisions. And then you are finished. But if you risk 1%, you can lose 10 times in a row, and you are only down 10%. That is completely recoverable. You can keep trading. You can let your edge play out. You can stay in the game. And staying in the game is everything. Small accounts do not grow because of big wins. They grow because of flawless execution over time. And flawless execution starts with fixed risk. So here is your ritual. Every single morning before you take any trade, write down your account size. Calculate 1% of that number. That is your risk for every trade today. Do not deviate. Do not make exceptions. Do not tell yourself that this trade is different. 1%. Every trade. Every day. Make this so automatic that you do not even have to think about it. Make it a rule that you cannot break. Because the moment you start breaking this rule, you are back in emotional mode. And emotional mode is where accounts die. Now let me talk about the second ritual, journaling. Most traders do not journal. And the ones who do it wrong. They write down their entry, their exit, and their profit or loss. That is not journaling. That is record keeping. Journaling is about emotions. It is about self-observation. It is about tracking your discipline. Here is what I want you to do. After every trade, answer these questions. Did I follow my rules? Yes or no? If no, why not? What was I feeling before I entered the trade? What was I feeling during the trade? What was I feeling after the trade? Did I move my stop? Did I take profit too early? Did I hesitate? Did I revenge trade? Write it all down. Be brutally honest. Do not judge yourself. Just observe. This is the most powerful exercise you can do, because it forces you to become aware of your patterns. Most traders are completely unconscious. They make the same mistakes over and over again, and they do not even realize it. But when you journal, you start to see the patterns. You start to see that you always revenge trade after 2 losses in a row. You start to see that you always take profit too early when you are up. You start to see that you always skip trades on Mondays. Once you see the pattern, you can change it. But you cannot change what you are not aware of. So journal every single day. Do not skip this. It is not optional. It is the foundation of self-discipline. And here is the key. You are not journaling to track profits. You are journaling to track discipline. Because profits are a result of discipline. If you are disciplined, profits will come. If you are not disciplined, profits will disappear. So stop focusing on the money. Focus on the behavior. Track your adherence to your rules. Track your emotional state. Track your consistency. That is what matters. Let me give you an example of what good journaling looks like. You take a trade, it loses. You write this down. Loss, $10. Did I follow my rules? Yes. What was I feeling before the trade? Calm. I saw my setup and I took it. What was I feeling during the trade? Slightly anxious. I kept looking at the chart. What was I feeling after the trade? Disappointed, but okay. I followed my plan. Did I move my stop? No. Did I take profit early? No. It hit my stop. Did I hesitate? No. Did I revenge trade? No. I did not take another trade today. This is good journaling. You are tracking your emotions. You are tracking your behavior. You are building self-awareness. Now, over time, you start to see patterns. You notice that you are always anxious during trades, so you work on that. You practice staying off the charts once you enter. You practice trusting your plan. And slowly, the anxiety decreases. This is how you improve. Not by finding better setups, by becoming more disciplined. And discipline comes from awareness. And awareness comes from journaling. So make this a non-negotiable part of your day. After every trade, take 5 minutes to journal. Do not skip it. Do not tell yourself you will do it later. Do it immediately. While the emotions are fresh, while the memories are clear. This is how you build mastery. Now let me talk about the most difficult ritual, thinking in probabilities. This is the hardest concept for most traders to accept, but it is the most important. Here is the truth. You do not know what is going to happen on the next trade. You do not. No matter how good your setup is, no matter how confident you feel, you do not know. The outcome of any single trade is random, but the outcome of a large sample of trades is predictable. That is the nature of probabilities. Let me give you an example. If you flip a coin, you do not know if it will be heads or tails. But if you flip it 100 times, you know it will be close to 50-50. Trading is the same. You do not know if your next trade will win or lose, but if you take 100 trades using the same rules, you can predict your overall result. That is your edge, not the next trade, the next 100 trades. But most traders do not think this way. They judge themselves based on the last trade. If they win, they feel good. If they lose, they feel bad. And that emotional reaction causes them to change their behavior. After a win, they get overconfident. They increase their risk. They take trades outside their plan. After a loss, they get scared. They decrease their risk. They skip good setups. And this destroys their edge. Because they are reacting to randomness. They are trying to predict the unpredictable. Here is what you must do instead. Detach from the outcome of each trade. Stop caring if this trade wins or loses. The only thing that matters is whether you followed your rules. Did you take the trade according to your plan? Did you manage your risk correctly? Did you exit according to your rules? If yes, then the trade was a success, even if it lost money. Because you are not trying to win every trade. You are trying to execute your edge consistently, and your edge only works over a large sample size. So make this your daily ritual. Before the market opens, remind yourself, I do not know what will happen on this trade. I am not trying to predict the future. I am simply executing my edge, one trade at a time. After each trade, remind yourself, this result means nothing. What matters is the next 100 trades. This is how professional traders think. They are emotionally neutral. They do not celebrate wins. They do not mourn losses. They just execute over and over again, without attachment. Let me tell you why this is so hard. Your brain is wired to find patterns. It is wired to predict. It is wired to create certainty where there is none. This is a survival mechanism. In the wild, if you see a pattern, you assume it will repeat. If you hear a noise in the bushes, you assume it is a predator. This keeps you alive. But in trading, this mechanism destroys you. Because you start seeing patterns that are not there. You start believing you can predict what will happen next. You start thinking that because you won the last 3 trades, you will win the next one, or because you lost the last 3 trades, you will lose the next one. But the market does not work that way. Each trade is independent. The last trade has no influence on the next trade. The outcome is random, and until you accept that, you will keep sabotaging yourself. So here is what I want you to do. After every trade, say this out loud. This result tells me nothing about the next trade. I am simply executing my edge over a large sample. Say it even if you won, especially if you won, because winning is more dangerous than losing. Winning makes you believe you have figured it out. Winning makes you overconfident. Winning makes you take risks you should not take. So remind yourself after every trade, this was just one data point. It means nothing. What matters is the next 100 trades. Do this every single day. And over time, your brain will start to believe it. And when your brain believes it, you will stop reacting emotionally. You will stop celebrating wins. You will stop mourning losses. You will just execute. And that is when you become profitable. Now, let me talk about what you do before the market opens. This is critical. Most traders wake up and immediately start looking at charts. They are reactive. They are letting the market dictate their emotional state. That is backwards. You must enter the market from a place of emotional neutrality, and that requires preparation. Here is what I do every single morning, and I recommend you do the same. Spend 10 minutes before the market opens reviewing your rules. Not your charts, your rules. Read them out loud if you have to. Remind yourself what you are looking for. Remind yourself what you are not looking for. Remind yourself of your risk per trade. Remind yourself of your profit target. Remind yourself of your stop-loss rules. This is not about predicting what the market will do. This is about defining your behavior in advance. Because once the market opens, you will not have time to think. You will be reacting. And if you have not defined your behavior in advance, you will react emotionally. So take the time. Sit down. Close your eyes. Visualize yourself executing your plan perfectly. See yourself taking the trade. See yourself managing the trade. See yourself exiting the trade, all according to your rules. Feel what it feels like to be disciplined. This is mental conditioning. This is how you train your mind to stay calm under pressure. And here is the most important part. Decide in advance that you will not deviate from your plan, no matter what. No matter how good a setup looks, no matter how much you want to take a trade. If it does not fit your rules, you will not take it. Make that commitment before the market opens, because once the market is moving, it is too late. You will be in emotional mode. You will rationalize. You will justify. You will convince yourself that this trade is different. But if you have made the commitment in advance, you have something to hold on to. You have a line in the sand, and that line is what keeps you disciplined. Let me give you a specific example of what this looks like. You wake up. You sit down at your desk. You do not open your charts yet. Instead, you open your trading plan. You read through your rules. You say them out loud. I only take trades that have X, Y, and Z conditions. I risk 1% on every trade. I place my stop at this level. I take profit at this level. I do not move my stop. I do not take profit early. I do not revenge trade. You say these things out loud. Then you close your eyes. You visualize the trading day ahead. You see yourself waiting patiently for your setup. You see yourself taking the trade without hesitation. You see yourself managing the trade calmly. You see yourself exiting the trade according to plan. You feel the calmness. You feel the discipline. You feel the control. Then you open your eyes. You take a deep breath. And you say to yourself, today I will execute my plan perfectly, no matter what happens, no matter how I feel. I will follow my rules. Now you are ready. Now you can open your charts. This might seem like a waste of time, but it is not. This is the most important 10 minutes of your trading day. because this is what sets the tone. This is what puts you in the right mental state. This is what gives you the strength to resist emotional impulses later. Do not skip this. Make it a non-negotiable ritual every single day. Before you look at a single chart, prepare your mind. Now let me talk about what you do after the market closes. This is just as important as the pre-market preparation. Most traders close their platform and walk away. They do not review, they do not reflect, they just move on to the next day. And that is a mistake, because without review, there is no learning. Without learning, there is no improvement. So here is what I want you to do. After the market closes, spend 15 minutes reviewing your day. Not your profits, not your losses, your behavior. Ask yourself these questions. Did I follow my rules today? If yes, congratulate yourself. If no, why not? What trades did I take outside my plan? What was I feeling when I took those trades? Did I move my stop loss? Did I take profit too early? Did I hesitate on a good setup? Did I overtrade? Did I revenge trade? Write it all down. Be honest. Do not judge yourself. Just observe. This is how you become aware of your patterns. This is how you start to change them. And here is the key. You are not reviewing to beat yourself up. You are reviewing to learn. Every mistake is information. Every deviation from your plan is a clue. It is showing you where your discipline breaks down. It is showing you what emotions are controlling you. Once you see it, you can work on it. But if you do not review, you will keep making the same mistakes, over and over again, without even realizing it. So make this a non-negotiable ritual every single day. After the market closes, 15 minutes. Review your behavior. Track your discipline. Reinforce what you did well. Identify what you need to improve. This is how small accounts grow, not through brilliance, through consistency. And consistency is built through daily review. Now let me be specific about what this review looks like. You sit down after the market closes. You open your journal. You look at every trade you took today. For each trade you ask, was this trade part of my plan? If yes, good. If no, why did I take it? Was I bored? Was I trying to make back a loss? Was I overconfident from a win? Write down the reason. Then you ask, did I manage this trade correctly? Did I move my stop? Did I take profit early? Did I let it run to my target? Write down what you did. Then you ask, how did I feel during this trade? Were you calm? Were you anxious? Were you excited? Were you scared? Write it down. Do this for every single trade. Then, at the end, you look at the overall day. You ask yourself, did I follow my plan today? If yes, you write, today was a successful day. I executed my plan perfectly. I am proud of my discipline. It does not matter if you made money or lost money. If you followed your plan, the day was a success. If you did not follow your plan, you write, today I deviated from my plan. I took trades outside my system. I let my emotions control me. Tomorrow I will do better. Then you write down specifically what you will work on tomorrow. Tomorrow I will not revenge trade. Tomorrow I will not move my stop. Tomorrow I will wait for my setup. This is how you improve. Day by day, trade by trade, through awareness and commitment, not through finding better setups, not through learning more strategies, through executing the same simple rules consistently without deviation. Now let me tell you something that might surprise you. If trading feels boring, you are doing it right. I know that sounds strange, but it is true. Because boredom means you are no longer emotionally attached. Boredom means you are no longer hoping. Boredom means you are no longer fearing. You are just executing, and that is mastery. Most traders think mastery is about knowing more, but mastery is about feeling less. It is about being able to take a trade without excitement, It is about being able to lose a trade without disappointment. It is about being able to sit through the market without needing to do something. When you reach this state, trading becomes mechanical. You see your setup. You take the trade. You manage the trade. You exit the trade. No emotion, no drama, no excitement, just execution. And that is when you start to make money consistently, because you are no longer sabotaging yourself. You are no longer taking trades to feel something. You are taking trades because they fit your plan, and you are exiting trades because they reach your target or stop, not because you are scared, not because you are greedy, just because the plan says so. This is the goal. This is what you are working toward, and when you get there, it will feel boring. But that boredom is freedom. It is freedom from emotional chaos. It is freedom from self-sabotage. It is freedom from the constant mental suffering that most traders experience. So do not be afraid of boredom. Embrace it. Welcome it. It is the sign that you are finally trading like a professional. Let me explain what this looks like in practice. You have been trading for 6 months. You have been following your rituals every single day. You wake up. You review your rules. You visualize perfect execution. You open your charts. You wait for your setup. You take the trade. You manage it according to plan. You exit according to plan. You journal. You review. You go to bed. The next day, you do the same thing. And the next day. And the next day. After 6 months, something changes. You stop feeling anxious before trades. You stop feeling excited when you win. You stop feeling devastated when you lose. You just feel neutral. You execute. You follow the plan. You journal. You review. And it feels boring. But when you look at your account, it is growing. Slowly, steadily, consistently. You are not hitting home runs. You are not having big, exciting wins. You are just chipping away. 1% here, 2% there. And over time, it adds up. This is what mastery looks like. It is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It is boring. But it works. And that is all that matters. So if you find yourself getting bored with trading, do not panic. Do not think you need to find a new strategy. Do not think you need to make things more exciting. Just keep doing what you are doing. Because boredom means you are on the right path. It means you have removed emotion from the equation. It means you are thinking in probabilities. It means you are executing your edge. And that is exactly where you need to be. Now let me introduce one more ritual that most traders overlook. Emotional self-monitoring during the trading day. This is different from journaling after trades. This is about checking in with yourself in real time. Here is why this matters. Your emotional state determines your decisions. If you are anxious, you will make fearful decisions. If you are overconfident, you will make reckless decisions. If you are frustrated, you will make revenge decisions. But most traders do not notice their emotional state until after they have already made the mistake. They take the revenge trade, and then they realize they were angry. They move their stop, and then they realize they were scared. They overtrade, and then they realize they were bored. By then, it is too late. The damage is done. So you need to catch these emotions before they lead to bad decisions. And the way to do that is through regular emotional check-ins during the trading day. Here is how it works. Set a timer on your phone. Every hour, the timer goes off. When it goes off, stop what you are doing. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Then ask yourself these questions. How am I feeling right now? Am I calm? Am I anxious? Am I excited? Am I frustrated? Am I bored? Just notice. Do not judge. Just become aware. Then ask yourself, is this emotional state likely to cause me to break my rules? If the answer is yes, take a break. Step away from the charts. Go for a walk, drink some water, do something else. Come back when you are calm. This simple ritual can save you from countless mistakes because it forces you to become aware of your emotional state before it controls you. Let me give you an example. You are trading. You take a trade. It loses. You take another trade. It loses. Your timer goes off. You stop. You close your eyes. You take 3 deep breaths. You ask yourself how you are feeling, and you realize you are frustrated. You realize you are thinking about taking a bigger trade to make back your losses. This is the moment. This is where awareness saves you, because now you know that you are in emotional mode, and you know that trading in emotional mode leads to disaster. So you step away, you take a break, you calm down, and you avoid the revenge trade that would have blown up your account. This is the power of emotional self-monitoring. It gives you the chance to catch yourself before you self-destruct. So make this a ritual. Set a timer. Check in with yourself every hour. Notice your emotional state, and if you are not calm, do not trade. It is that simple. Let me bring this all together. Small accounts do not grow through big wins. They grow through flawless execution of simple rules, over and over again, without deviation. You do not need a better strategy. You do not need more knowledge. You do not need a bigger account. You need discipline. And discipline is built through daily rituals. Rituals that condition your mind to think in probabilities. Rituals that remove emotion from your trading. Rituals that make consistency automatic. Here is what I want you to do starting tomorrow. First, commit to risking 1% per trade. No more, no less. Every single trade. Second, journal after every trade. Track your emotions. Track your discipline. Track your adherence to your rules. Third, spend 10 minutes before the market opens reviewing your plan. Define your behavior in advance. Visualize perfect execution. Fourth, spend 15 minutes after the market closes reviewing your behavior, not your profits, your behavior. Fifth, remind yourself every single day that you do not know what will happen on the next trade. You are not trying to predict. You are executing your edge over a large sample size. Sixth, check in with your emotional state every hour during the trading day. If you are not calm, do not trade. Do these 6 things every single day, without fail, for 6 months, and I promise you your trading will transform, not because you learned something new, but because you became disciplined. And discipline compounds. It compounds faster than intelligence. It compounds faster than luck. It compounds faster than anything else. Because discipline is the only thing you can control. You cannot control the market. You cannot control the outcome of a trade, but you can control your behavior. And when you control your behavior, you control your results. So stop chasing excitement. Stop looking for the perfect strategy. Stop trying to get rich quick. And start doing the boring work, the unsexy work.